According to the cloud. Give a minute for the live stream to pop up. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Vinny Diamato, and welcome to the 20th meeting of the Student Government Senate. Today is March 29th, 2021. As always, starting off with roll call. And for the question this week, we have, what is something on your bucket list? To answer this question, we have Spencer Kwan, Joanna Shie, Sammy Casas, Amanda Schneider, and Michael Leone. So let's do this. Starting off, as always, Savannah Majarwitz.
Present.
Evan Teplensky.
Present.
Achilles Stone.
Present.
Bella Newell.
Present.
Dhruv Kapadia.
Present.
Hassan Faruqi.
Present.
Janez James.
Present.
Jessica Zhang.
Present.
Spencer Kwan.
Present. And I think something on my bucket list would be climbing Mount Everest. I know that takes a lot of training, but it just seems worth it to, be standing on top of the world.
When you do that, I fully expect like a whole vlog documentary of all of that. Like I need the full journey, man, okay? Because I'm never going to do it. I get asthma in the cold weather, and that's just like off limits for me.
I'll plant a BU flag on top of it.
Hell yes. Lauren Hagee.
Present.
Navia Kachuru.
Present.
Shahaf Dan.
Present.
Sui Muowo.
Present.
Vivian Dai.
Here by proxy, and this is Hassan Faruqi.
So Vivian's here by proxy.
Yes, that's me.
Did she email beforehand?
I'm not sure, but I can ask her.
Okay, because to my knowledge, I don't have any record of that. Sungyu Guan.
Here.
Brandon Yu. Brandon Yu. Richard Siegelman.
Here.
William Harrison. William Harrison. Amanda Schneider.
Present. And then something on my bucket list is to be on The Amazing Race.
Ooh, love Amazing Race. Such a good show. Are they starting up the new season yet?
Yeah, I was actually like, I'm gonna apply, but you have to be 21.
Well, best of luck with that.
Thank
Let me
you.
know, like vlog the whole thing, and then just like let me know when you're gonna be on TV. Olivia Herr.
Here.
Sophie Jin.
Here.
Owen Kelly.
Present.
Maha Noor.
Here.
Shireen Bakray.
Present.
Cassidy Balboa.
Present.
Joanna Shie.
Present, and I would like to go to a 2 or 3 star Michelin restaurant.
Can I come with you? Go for some good food.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, good food. Let's go. Noah Greif.
Here.
Amy Luo.
Here.
Michael Leone.
Here, and I'd probably say skydiving. I know it's a very cliche answer, but something about jumping out of a plane and free falling sounds very exhilarating.
Just play Free Fall in the background. It'll be a grand old time. Yeah, I'm scared to do that, but like I totally would if I get the chance. Jaylene Ramirez.
Here.
Selena Chen.
Present.
Natalie Kesley-Wall.
Here.
Jay Hao Jin.
Present.
Brianna Cole.
Present.
Mehar Hora.
Present.
John Michael Aracena.
Present.
Isabella Townsend.
Present.
Samantha Casas.
Present, and I guess it would be like owning my own coffee shop.
What type of coffee? I don't know. Actually, that's a stupid. There's so many types of coffee. But I'm coming to try it when you open it up.
It would be like Mexican, like panderia, like pan dulce style kind of things, kind of vibes,
Again, hit me up. I want to come try it. Celine Machin,
Here.
Shayna Evans,
Here.
Keely Massini,
Present.
and last but not least, Juliana Torres.
Present.
Right, so with that, we are missing 2, so that puts us at 40 votes today. That is 27 for a supermajority and 21 for a simple majority. All right, we'll go through the agenda for today. Quite a short one. We have the President's Address, Amending Bill 003, Amending Bill 002, closing it out as always with open forum. So, Mr. President, floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Just some very quick updates on my end. First, thank you to SEC for hosting the announcement dinner on Friday. I know that the hybrid option was great. And I'm very proud of SEC for putting that together. Next thing, cabinet applications for next year's cabinet have opened. If you have any questions, please reach out to Vice President-elect Hassan Faruqi. On that note, congratulations to the next executive board. Very excited and very ecstatic with the work that will be coming in, and excited to see you all kill it. Next thing, Senate elections are soon, for Senate Chair, excuse me. So please reach out to Vinny if you have any questions. I know that's going to be coming up. And then the next thing is a very cool update. Super excited to announce, and this is definitely, hopefully will put some smiles on your face. This upcoming Wednesday is a wellness day, as you all know. BU Student Government is partnering up with If It Won't Cut It to give students free blue bikes for this Wednesday. So feel free to ride on a blue bike this Wednesday, free of cost. That announcement will be coming up rather soon. The reason why I don't have an email written up already is because this just happened in the last couple minutes. So excited to tell you all that, but I love riding blue bikes. The weather is plus 60 degrees, so I'll be one of those people utilizing it. I think we are working on something to get some subsidized costs for April. But if I plan to write an email to the student body for, before the wellness day, I know it's on very short notice. I will email you guys all before, and will give you guys a heads up before. I just don't have it written because this literally just happened in the last couple of minutes. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, Senator Toplensky.
Yes, I would like to know, as a senator and a student that pays tuition, how If It Won't Cut It was able to get the money to do that, because I'm getting a little frustrated because they're not an SAO and they're like, still we pay for them, but it doesn't make sense to me. So I would love to know.
Yeah, I don't know the finances of If It Won't Cut It, but I do know that, our goal with this, and the reason why we even chose to want to partner with them, is because they have a platform, and whether somebody likes them or not, they are able to, reach a whole bunch of students. So yeah, that's the reason why. And a follow-up question.
Oh, sorry. Nope.
Yeah, Senator Siegelman.
Yeah, thank you. Just out of curiosity, who does know the finances for If It Won't Cut It on that note?
Dean Elmore.
Thank you.
And Senator Toplensky.
To follow up on that, would Dean Elmore be interested in coming to a meeting and answering that question?
Yeah, I can definitely ask him.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, cool. Senator Toplensky, I'll get on that. If Dean Elmore is not the right person, they point me another direction, I will ask that person to join us at the next Senate meeting. Is that all good?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, as always, Mr. President. Moving into the constitutional amendments package. As always, you guys have 5 minutes to present any updates that you'd like. Whoever wishes to have the floor first, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We presented this last week. I hope that everyone's gotten a chance to read through the package and see if they have any questions. If you go ahead, just 3 slides, please, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, that one right there. So I know that there were some questions about the Students' Bill of Rights, so I just want to answer them here today. So first, the Students' Bill of Rights clarifies the rights that students have as they pertain to student government. So the rights are given to them by StuGov, and they are not given to them by the university. So this is not the Boston University Constitution. And so as some folks mentioned last week, there are rights like the right to live in on-campus housing or the right to go to classes. And those are rights, but those are rights granted by BU, not by BU student government. The nature of any student organization constitution is that it pertains only to the organization itself. And so that also clarifies the question I know Senator Topunsky had and some others had, that this does not impact in any way what college governments are able to do. Those are independent organizations for the purpose of this constitution, except as it pertains to college governments appointing senators to the BU student government. In those cases, I know that the second and third points of the Bill of Rights were at issue as they relate to, what is anyone? This is just to make sure that all students have access to a particular position. It does not, though, in my understanding, prevent the use of what we would call bona fide occupational qualifications. So the example used was, does a CAS senator have to be a CAS student? I think that's a pretty fair criteria. So this language allows CAS student government to continue to be able to do that. So we won't have College of Engineering students able to apply. And likewise, any other qualifications that any position puts in place, more or less should be fine. This is like a very classic problem in employment discrimination law more generally. And so as the US courts have ruled, we can still have qualifications for a job, you just don't want to discriminate. And so I hope that that clarifies. And if it doesn't at this point, I would be happy to take any questions. I do want to give a chance to any of the justices who are here who've been fantastic collaborators on this process to jump in if they would like to add anything. So if that is the case, now's the time.
It's 2.5 minutes if any of you wish to speak.
Well, if not, Mr. Chairman, I yield the floor to you, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
All right. Also, my apologies about sending the wrong link. That must have copied over from before. I did not mean to send that link. I can't delete it, but my mistake. I don't know why that didn't work before, but I will open the floor to any questions for them. 10 minutes. If anyone wishes to raise their hand and ask a question, floor is open. Also, as a side note, I've now put in the right link. Any questions going once? Going twice? All right, with that, I'll open the floor to any points or motions. Senator Faruqi?
I move to enter voting procedure on the constitutional amendments package.
Second.
All right, it's been seconded. We are looking for a supermajority here. Senator Yu, you are here now, correct, for the record?
Correct.
All right, thank you. So that brings us up to 41 for today. And because this is a motion to go into voting procedure, that is a supermajority, which now requires 28 votes to enter. And is also 21 for a simple. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a supermajority?
I have a supermajority.
All right, so with that, the motion passes. We are now in voting procedure. I will lower everyone's hands and again, open the floor to any points or motions. Senator Faruqi.
I move to vote on amending Bill 3.
Second.
Second.
All right, so with that, we are now looking for a simple majority to enter the vote. Please raise your hands if you wish to vote in the affirmative. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a simple majority?
Yes, I have a simple majority.
All right, with that, the motion passes. We're now going to vote on Senate Amending Bill 003. Mr. Vice Chair, if you can send that into the Slack channel. Anyone who does not have access to Slack for one reason or another, please private message me and I'll send it over to you. Senator Furkey, thank you for letting me know the vote of Senator Dye.
The voting form is in the Slack for everyone now.
It says it's no longer accepting responses.
One sec.
Same.
Wait a minute, which
Yeah, it was just the thing was flipped. It should be accepting responses if somebody can confer that they can.
Yes, it's working now. Thank you.
Yes.
all right, I will give you all a minute and a half from now. Thirty more seconds for those who haven't voted yet. All right, and with that, I am now going to close the voting form. And with 37 votes in the affirmative, congratulations, the amendment, or amendments for that matter, pass. All right, moving on to our final point in the agenda today. Senate Amending Bill 002. So Ms. Davy Franconi and Ms. Wojciechowski, if either of you have any updates you wish to present, you have the floor for 5 minutes.
All right, so I think I'm going to start us off, and then if I have time, I'm going to yield to Noel. So first, I want to say thank you. We have all members of KLab here with us today, so you can kind of start to put names to faces because you've only met 2 of us, but there are actually around 9 of us. I'm saying thank you to everyone who's helped us. Thank you to the people who met with us this past week, who took time to actually kind of hear us out and have those one-on-one discussions. I really, really appreciate that. And I know all the members of KLab do as well. I know that some of you have approached this issue in earnest, and you've been more than willing to collaborate with us. And I think that's incredible. That's what we're here to do. I want to make this clear. I am not KHC. I am a student, just like any of you. And the only thing I'm here to do is try to improve the lives of the students that I represent, which again, I think is what you're here to do too. However, I think some of you came in assuming malicious intent. Some of you have been acting like we just murdered your favorite pet hamster. That's not what I'm here to make you feel. I mean, we've been called names, we've been made into memes. I think that's problematic, right? That's not what any of us are here to do. So I'm also going to provide some context. This process officially began in 2019, but unofficially started at least a year earlier with Jess Silva, which some of you may have known and remember. So in fall 2019, judicial ruled that KHC is not a college based on something Dean B said that he's now retracted. This has gone on for 2 years, which for the record is longer than any relationship I've had to date. So at this point, we are married to the cause. Generations upon generations of fruit flies have lived and died in the time it has taken to get to this point. We never wanted to propose a constitutional amendment, but we felt like this was our last resort. It seemed like people really weren't hearing us out. It's clear there's a lot of miscommunication happening. It's clear that sometimes branches aren't speaking to one another. A lot of senators didn't know about judicial's decision and vice versa. It's clear that administration is giving unofficial official information that is off the record, but supposed to inform your decision, so therefore would be on the record. It's clear that sometimes we're spending 10 minutes of time figuring out what Robert's rules is going to tell us to do next. This is a problem. We need to make either official statements, either have people say things in an official capacity and inform you officially, or it shouldn't be on the record at all, and shouldn't inform you in that sense. It doesn't make sense for us to run as an at-large party. I know that's been raised quite a few times. The fact of the matter is, whether you think we're a college or not, we're a permanent institution at BU. We should have a permanent seat. We're not a special interest group. So that would mean really that the only people who would be voting for KHC to have representation, logically speaking, would be people in KHC. That is maybe 500 people within the undergraduate population at BU. So that puts us at a very severe disadvantage. Again, because we're not a special interest. Other people wouldn't be. Why would you care? You know, if anything, it's been very evident that maybe you don't if you're not in KHC. So it doesn't totally make sense to do that. We would also be taking away seats if we were to run and get them from at-large parties who are actually representing important identifiers and special interests on campus. So we don't want to do that, right? So the only other real option is to get us some form of permanent representation. Whether that's through a constitutional amendment, maybe yes, maybe no. Again, I know we've all received conflicting information. As far as we know, KHC does jointly confer. I don't know whether administration is speaking to that in an official capacity or not, but there seems to be some misunderstanding there. So what to do about this amendment? To be honest, it's not clear for anyone going forward. What is clear is that the situation at hand remains. We have to find a way to get permanent representation for people who are within a permanent institution at BU, but not necessarily in the category of an identifier or a special interest party. So I know some people who have been really great, who've been working with us, are going to be proposing a standing committee in open forum. And the purpose of standing committee would be to get kind of a representation oversight committee. So this would follow through on any new people who come to Senate, potentially with the same struggle, where there isn't a clear defined definition that they can refer to. But there needs to be some kind of process in place. A lot of you have said you want to see us get representation. I think now is your time to follow through on that promise. So we are really, really hoping that there will be collaboration on this front and on this effort. And I think that that is all that I have to say.
I just want to reiterate, I don't know how much time is left, but I want to reiterate everything that Francesca has just said. I am also a student. You know, we're just like, all of you, we really just want to help our constituents, the people who elected us. We really want this to be a smooth process. We want to work with you. And frankly, again, it is the time to show that if you are serious about Kilishan having representation, that you're willing to work with us too. So we thank everyone again who has helped us, especially Jessica, Hessen, Vinny for meeting with us, Shashi for meeting with us once. And again, just please, we're students too.
Thank you both for that. I will now open the floor to any questions that you guys might have. Senator Teplensky, you're up first.
Thank you. I just want to I think make it more human. Is it possible to just really quickly name position of who else is in KLab, so that way we see more Kilishan individuals?
Of course. If the KLab representatives here want to introduce themselves, we can maybe start with the junior reps, work down.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know how many, but
or they can just raise their hands.
15 seconds.
That works better, probably.
All right, raise your hands. I'll call on you. First up, Aiden.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aiden Cliff. I'm currently a sophomore serving on the Kilishan Leadership Advisory Board. I'm really excited and hopeful that we're going to be able to represent Kilishan and all of these students who are not currently represented. And hopefully moving forward, we can find a way to do so effectively.
Adam?
Hello, everyone. My name is Adam. I'm a freshman representative for KLab, and a lot of you guys may recognize me because I'm also in CAS student government. So hello, Evan.
Sydney?
Hello, everyone. My name is Sydney Gerbel. I'm a junior in CAS and also obviously on KLab. And just reiterating what everyone else said, this is not a zero-sum game. We're trying to not take seats away from others while still giving us a chance for what we believe is right for representation. So I really hope that you consider that when you make your votes tonight.
Richard?
Hi, everyone. My name is Richard. I'm a junior on KLab and in comm. This is my first semester on KLab, but I've very much gotten into this whole process. And as has been said, I'm very interested in finding a strong way that we can resolve this so that everyone's happy and everyone's represented.
Charlie, hey, good to see you.
Hey, Vinny. I'm Charlie. I'm a sophomore majoring in human physiology and Sargent, also on KLab. This is my second year serving on KLab. This has been something that I have been working towards since I was first elected last year. And I am very excited to work with you guys to try to find some way to make sure that we can have fair and just representation for all BU students.
I apologize if I butchered this, but Young Yuan?
Hello, I go by Steve as well. You can call me
Steve.
that. So
Steve.
I'm another elected junior representative on KLab, and I have been in touch with some of you over the past week discussing Senate Amendment Bill 002. I want to in particular thank Lauren for helping us out throughout this process, as well as Jessica for meeting with us and for your passion and care in the cause that we're working towards. I also look forward to working with the new executive board that's upcoming next year to collaborate and reach a mutually agreeable solution that will benefit everyone, not only Kyoto, but other future colleges that will come in the Boston University going forward. So thank you all for your time.
Grace.
Hi, everyone. My name is Grace Adebagun. I'm a freshman and one of the freshman representatives on KLab. I'm in CAS, and I have served in CAS advocacy as well. So just want to say thank you to all of you guys for hearing us out tonight, and I look forward to being able to reach a solution on this issue. Thank you.
And last but not least, KLab homie Basil, I believe.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Faisal. I'm a freshman rep, so one of the babies on campus, and it's really nice to see y'all's faces. And we've all been working really hard to talk about this and heard a lot about this, and I'm sure it's been a lot. So looking forward to hopefully get more involved than I have been and see y'all and work with y'all. Yep.
Are there any
Thank
additional
you.
questions? And thank you all for that.
There are a few Senator or KLab representatives watching on YouTube that also say hello. There's more of us.
Well, I'm glad to hear someone's watching the YouTube. That makes me happy. We have about 6 minutes left if anyone wishes to ask questions. Senator Teplinsky.
Apologies.
Oh, I'm guessing, okay. Senator Faruqi.
Sure. I just want to thank all the folks from KLab for being here, and I really appreciate all of your hard work on this over the past several years. Whatever happens with this bill, I sincerely want more KHC students to be involved in student government. I would like to see a number of changes happen next year through the cabinet departments, specifically in the Department of Recruitment and the Department of Academic Affairs, to put dedicated KHC folks in those positions so we can specifically get more people into student government from KHC specifically, as well as then adjudicate any academic policy issues that KHC may have. So subject to obviously the discretion of the directors of those departments next year, I think those would be great ideas to have. And so I just, I'm very appreciative of all the work that you all put in, and I hope that we continue to work together, those of you who are going to be at BU next year.
Any additional questions? Senator Noor.
Hi, so I'm actually in KHC too, so I see both sides of the argument right now. But one question that I have is, have you guys considered becoming an at-large party? I feel like that might be an easier way to get into Senate and rep. And if you guys have, why haven't you tried to pursue that route yet?
Yeah, so I think honestly, I can take this question, or if anybody else wants to, I know that we've all kind of discussed this at length.
I can maybe take it again, just because I know that Francesca just said it, but we do know that that's been a point of contention. Again, we've seen all the memes, we've seen the things that have been said about us in this regard, and we really want to make people know that we respect at-large parties. We think they're very important, and we think that it just doesn't make sense for Killeshon as is. Again, because Killeshon first, as I'm sure you know, Senator Noor, is because we're a very small population on campus compared to a lot of other special interest groups. So even if everyone in KHC voted, there's no guarantee that we would actually win a seat. And again, it would be year to year, which we believe, would be kind of difficult, especially as a permanent institution. We also feel, we know that only 10 at-large Senate seats are allocated for at-large parties. And we think, our goal is not to take away Senate seats from other really important groups. We, of course, believe we are an important group, but we think that we should be serving in a different capacity, or at least our Senate seats should be in a different capacity than that, because number one, we probably wouldn't have the votes, if I'm being completely honest, because of the student population. And number two, because we would, be competing with all of these other really important groups that are supposed to be represented by at-large parties. So that's why we haven't necessarily, that's why we've, thought about it. And we have had really thoughtful discussions about this, I assure you. Over the past 2 years, we have thought about it a lot. And this is kind of where we have decided upon discussions between ourselves, other senators, judicial, and our director.
Thank you.
If I may add on to that, I would like to reiterate that we are a permanent institution. We have a director, we have donors, we have curriculum, we have, it's essentially going through Killeshon is essentially going through a major within a college. We are Killeshon Honors College, a permanent institution. We're all very proud of it, as I hope you are too, Senator, to be a Killeshon student. So an at-large party is just simply not the most effective way for us to gain representation in a fair way for everyone.
Any final questions? Senator Balboa.
If you guys were to get seats within Senate, do you know how many would be allocated?
Right now, I believe it would be 1 Senate seat from the numbers. If I'm correcting, again, anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 1 seat and then 1 for every other 500, correct?
Do you know what you're in a
You're
rough
about
estimate of
400.
what? If you're 400, then you're 1 seat, because the rule is 1 seat per 500 students rounded to the nearest 1,000. Don't ask me why, that's just what it is, and I know it off the top of my head.
Nice. Yeah, so we would get 1 seat. And I also just want to add in case anyone was kind of wondering where the numbers were, if our numbers were pulled out of, if every single Killeshon student was pulled out of every single college and only allocated their Killeshon seat, no college, even CAS, would lose any seats, because we're not, we don't have enough to kind of push those numbers we have calculated.
One last question from Senator Noel.
If I understand what Dean B said was off the record technically, he has now expressed that his opinion is that Killeshon does not confer or jointly confer.
That's not his opinion. That was not his opinion. Sorry. That was from someone else. That wasn't, he just relayed that to us.
Is that the opinion of the administration? Whose opinion is that? Sorry to put you on the spot.
I mean, I can take this one just because I know if this is hard for you, because we just met with our advisor, again, like half an hour before this meeting.
I would really like to hear what was actually said in the email before I finish the question, because it does change the question. There might not be one depending on who the statement came from first. Sorry. Vinny, do you know who that statement was relayed from originally?
The provost.
The provost. Okay, so given that it is the provost's opinion that it doesn't.
Yes.
With the associate provost for undergrad affairs, it was not Provost Gene Morrison.
This is
So-
also not given on record. Nothing was officially said on record to us. And we met with Dean B and he made a point of saying that the administration will in no official capacity say anything about the functioning of Killeshond.
I would also like to say that, again, from our own director, this is why I don't think that this email is, again, we've all received conflicting information and it's frankly frustrating for all of us, I think, at this point that the administration won't speak on this because our director has spoken with Provost Morrison once, who said, of course you're a college, of course you do this, and has information packets.
Ms.
man-
Wojciechowski, I'm sorry to
Point of
interrupt
inquiry.
you, but I'm going to
Yeah.
elapse Q&A time because we are now a minute and a half over. Yes, Evan, point of order.
Point of what? I'm just very, very confused on, like, it's the I've never heard of that term. Associate provost for what?
Undergraduate affairs. Her name is Sue Kennedy if you want to look her up on the website.
Point of clarification.
Okay. Yes, Vice Chair.
On the Senate end of it, we did not have, that might be the K-Lab's name, but I just want to make sure that it's clear for who was reached out to who. On our end, it was just from the office of the provost. I'm not saying that K-Lab didn't get information from Assistant Provost Sue Kennedy, just because the question was on our email, to clarify.
But is the email on the record or off the record?
For right now, it's off the record. And
So this is why we're in a weird position. Everyone's confused, and I
Yes,
think
this
that
is
goes for
why-
all sides of this situation.
I understand, and this is why, in part, why I also personally want to keep it off the record because there are many conflicting information going around from what I've heard and what other people have heard. That being said, question and answer time has elapsed. I'm going to lower everyone's hands.
Can I ask a general question about that statement, though?
Technically, no, not in the motion of this.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's all
I know.
right.
I know you're not used to all this, but right now, no.
Yep.
I will open the floor to any points or motions. Senator Evans.
Motion to move into voting procedure for amending Bill 002. Second.
Wait. Was your motion to move into voting procedure? Was your motion to amend?
Nope, move into voting procedure.
Okay. So the motion is to move into voting procedure. Do I hear a second on that?
Yeah, I seconded. Senator Gassa
Okay.
seconded.
All right, so we have a second. We are moving into voting. We are seconding into motioning into moving into voting procedure. We are looking for a supermajority here. Please raise your hands if you wish to vote in the affirmative.
Point of order, I think it would be important to amend the bill, at least to amend the specific part of the Constitution that it's modifying, given that we've now changed the constitutional
That
order.
is not a point of order, Senator Faruqi. That is an opinion.
Point of clarification to Shana or Senator Evans.
You can ask me the point of clarification. Wait, what's the point of clarification? Is it on the specific motion itself that she asked?
Yes.
Why
are we not having a discussion?
That's a question. That's not
okay.
a point.
Then I
of-
can't. Okay. Okay.
No. Oh, okay. So everyone who's had their hand raised is wishing to vote in the affirmative to move into voting procedure. We have 21. That is not enough for a motion to go into voting
Point of order.
procedure.
May we
Point of
do a
order.
roll call vote?
Not for motions.
Okay.
That's saved for actual votes. I will again open the floor to any points or motions. I am sorry, Faisal, points or motions are only allowed to be made by those who are in the Senate. Senator Noel.
Motion for a 5-minute discussion with a 30-second speaking time.
Second.
Second.
Again.
All right, so the motion on the floor is a 5-minute discussion with a 30-second speaking time. Looking for a supermajority here. Senator Faruqi, that is for this vote, correct?
Correct.
Mr. Vice Chair, do you confirm? I'm just checking all the names.
Yes.
All right, so with that, and then the one
Without-
proxy vote that puts us at 28. I don't know who lowered their hand, but I already counted as a plus. That is 28. That is enough to move into a 5-minute discussion at 30-second speaking time. Senator Noel, that was Senator Noel who
Yeah, I was to speak first. Thank you.
All right. Floor is yours. I'll give you a 10-second warning beforehand.
Yeah, first of all, Vinny, I apologize for putting you on the spot. That wasn't my intention. I also would like to say I don't appreciate being interrupted. The point of my question was going to be simply to ask a hypothetical, which is that now, given this language that, of course, we've had off the record, if this bill was passed, would it ultimately lead to a judicial opinion? And would that lead to further stagnation as we are reaching the end of this year? I just have a lot of concerns now about the constitutional efficacy of the bill. Also, Hassan's point, we've changed the Constitution now, so I think it inherently does require an amendment, at least logistically, to fit within the Constitution.
Before I give next person to speak, Senator Noel, my sincerest apologies for interrupting you. That was unprofessional of me.
I am so sorry for putting you on the spot. It was not my intention.
Senator Perucchi.
Sure. So I'll write some language right now to clarify to Senator Newell's point. We just need to change what part of the Constitution amending Bill 2 is modifying, since we've moved parts and pieces of the Constitution around, and those are now in effect as of a few minutes ago. So before we vote in any way, I would like to make that amendment, just so that if it does pass, we don't have a super weird looking Constitution.
Ms. Davy Falcone.
I also just want to make clear that, I think that there are two ways to go about this. Either we can try to keep the bill as is or potentially amend it in order to, follow up on whatever information we have. We can try to get a meeting with the provost to make it absolutely clear what the official stance is. But I do think that the standing committee idea as well that will be proposed later is extremely important.
Thank you for mentioning that point. I should probably jump in because I was reminded of this by Mr. Vice Chair. Dean B offered to set up a meeting with people in the provost office if people wish to reach out to him to get that meeting set up. All right, I will now restart the clock. Senator Toplinsky.
Yes, before you start the clock, I would love to be on that email list. Okay. I have a lot of opinions. I'm sure you all know, not enough for 30 seconds. I agree with Bella on the front that we need to amend it before we go into voting procedure. And I have a very, very strong opinion that this should be voted on today. I think that all senators were given time and information and can make an informed decision. I don't think it sways it one way or another, but it should be voted upon. Thank you.
Senator Balboa.
Yet again, I just want to say that I did originally want to support this bill, but the way that it's all been handled, I don't agree with. The way that we mentioned at-large parties, and then immediately you guys said, oh, well, we support them, when just last week you made a rude comment to John Michael. Also, I just don't feel like there's actual passion for getting represented. Right now, you're technically just doing it by a Webster Dictionary definition of a college, which I don't care about.
Senator Hagee.
Yeah, so I just think that everybody, I guess I just want to point out that everybody is continuing to be antagonistic with their language as we discuss this issue, which isn't beneficial for anybody and is not productive in any way, shape, or form. So I just want to reiterate and ask everybody to be more respectful and considerate of the people around you and in this meeting. Second, I think that it's a little bit of a bad faith argument to talk about the handling of something and not about the language of it.
Senator Casas.
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, we have several people presenting who have never been in Senate before or sat before Senate. And I think that senators need to realize and address that. Sans the language of what's happening, these are our constituents that we represent. We have the right and duty to hear them out properly. Whether or not my opinion on this, which I will be voting no on this, I do think that we should handle this with respect and proper decorum. And I don't think we should continue any further discussion because as senators, we've had 2 weeks and ample time to discuss and meet with this. And
Senator
thank you, Vinny.
Casas, time has elapsed. Senator Noel.
I was gonna just say what Sammy said, so I'll yield my time.
Senator Teplensky.
Sammy, the first time we disagree this year, there should be more discussion, at least 10 minutes. But I do want to say that for all the Killeshaw people watching, and this is why I'm voting no, regardless of what is decided upon, you will have representation. You contacted, I know CAS senators told me they got emails because they are your representative. It might not be Killeshaw specific, but that doesn't mean those representatives can't come to our committee advocacy to talk about Killeshaw. And we work on so many different projects from CS.
Senator Teplensky, time has elapsed.
Thank you.
Last word, Senator Aracena.
Yeah, so my issue with this bill is that we've failed to prove that Killeshaw as described falls under the same definitions that can be applied to the other colleges that we've mentioned, like CAS. I have failed to see that Killeshaw doesn't have representation, and I don't understand why a program, and even though it's an honors, but I love the program for everything it stands for. I've done a lot of research on it. They
Senator
don't
Aracena, time has elapsed.
because you would get more representation even with your 500 students.
Senator Aracena, thank you. All right, with that, I'll lower everyone's hands. Senator Teplensky.
I would like to motion for 10 minutes of discussion with 1 minute speaking times. I believe that this is reasonable.
I also want to make a motion.
What's your motion, Senator Evans?
I want a motion to move into voting procedure.
I'd also like to make a motion.
Point of order, didn't we already fail that? Doesn't the
Yes.
Point of clarification, does a motion to amend the current language supersede motion to move into voting procedure?
The only thing that motion goes over voting procedure is suspending the meeting and adjourning the meeting. Judicial, remind me again, please, if you are here, if a motion to move into voting procedure that has been failed once, but then a motion passed in between it. Now there's a second motion to move into voting procedure if that is permissible.
Point of clarification as well, while judicial is thinking about that, if Senator Evans withdraws her motion and we motion to amend the current bill as it is, doesn't that warrant significant enough change to move back into voting procedure?
Hi, Christian Van Leer, W Chief Justice. Quick answer to Sammy's, yes, the amendment or amending the bill would warrant enough of a distinction between the two that would allow the second voting. I am currently going over Robert's rules right now to answer your first question.
Thank you, Christian. And also a motion to amend does supersede a motion to discuss. Senator Faruqi, I see that you've raised your hand, but I'm afraid I cannot take any motions right now until we get this issue with the voting procedure cleared up, because that is the current issue on the floor. If anyone has any questions that are in general to motions and are not.
point of inquiry? I have had this debate for a long time. How do you pronounce Killeshaw? Is it Killeshaw? Is it Killicond? Is it like? It's a very.
Yeah, no, fair enough. It's Kilachand. Also, I just
Okay.
wanted to reiterate, well, actually, many of you probably don't know, but I reached out to John Michael personally because I had heard that he may have been offended by something that we said. He never responded to my email.
Yeah, 'cause I was
This is not the forum for that, everyone. I understand that there's been a lot of communication and a lot of things going on. I beg
No,
you.
I understand that.
Please, thank you. I'm not. It was just. It is almost 9 o'clock, so I'll be a little bit more patient. Thank you.
Okay, can I have the official language of the question being proposed to judicial before I?
So a motion to move into voting procedure was proposed and failed. Then we had a motion to move into a 5-minute discussion period with 30-second speaking time, which passed. Now the motion on the floor right now, which superseded all the other motions by Robert's rules, is to move into voting procedure again. Now I know there is a clause in Robert's rules that says that you cannot do the same motion twice without substantial change, but I want to make sure that if there is a motion in between, does that make it permissible to propose the same motion without a substantial change?
No, it does not. After going through and rereading, the substantial change is either to the bill itself or within that period of time between quorum being met and then a meeting ending and then another meeting being proposed. So as of now, no, the voting procedure cannot happen.
Okay, so we'd have to have a substantial change in the bill for voting procedure to occur in this meeting.
That's correct.
Thank you. So with that, Senator Evans, I'm sorry, your motion does not stand.
Can I amend the motion?
No, because I believe someone else did motion to amend.
No, my motion to amend was not allowed because it did not supersede the motion to vote. But if Senator Evans withdraws her motion to move into voting procedure, then I can make the motion to make the amendment, which would supersede Evans' motion to move into discussion.
And I'll second that.
Robert was a man.
Then I withdraw my motion to move into voting procedure.
Motion to
So the
move.
So the motion on
Continue
the
on.
floor right now is a motion to amend by Senator Casas. It has been seconded by Senator Teplensky. What is the language of which you wish to amend?
I believe Senator Faruqi has been working on the complete language for the motion to amend Senate Amending Bill 002.
Senator Faruqi, please do not send this to me in the Zoom chat. Please just send me a Google Doc link.
Oh, sure. This is, yeah, I can do that.
Senator Faruqi, do you have the link?
I'm just creating a new version of Amending Bill 2. Sorry, I don't have edit access in the original document, so I will send that to you in the next minute and a half.
Okay.
Okay, Mr.
Thank
Chairman,
you.
the document is in the chat. In effect, folks, this is just changing the location of where this amendment would modify the language of the Constitution into the Senate section of the new Constitution. Thank you for your patience, everyone.
Okay, so the amendment to it would be as follows. Amend article. So this is the bill with the amendments that
I apologize,
Senator
Vinny.
Casas wishes to put forward, which now reads amend Article I.1.4b of the Student Government Constitution, introduce subclause A. A college shall be
Point of
defined as
order.
any. Yes.
I apologize, but we technically never voted to go into this.
No, I'm not. This isn't an official. I'm just reading out what it is for the
Okay.
record.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. A college shall be defined as any undergraduate unit at Boston University that 1, a student must apply to before matriculation, 2, confers or jointly confers an undergraduate degree, and 3, has its own specified curriculum and program requirements. Article 2, this bill shall be sent to the Judicial Affairs via the Vice President of Internal Affairs immediately following the passing of the bill. Judicial Affairs will then update the Student Government Constitution to reflect these changes. This is the bill, or these are the amendments proposed to the bill. We are looking for a simple majority for this to pass and become the language of the bill. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a simple majority?
Mr. Chairman, I have a simple majority.
All right, so with that, the language stands as is. I will lower everyone's hands and open the floor to any points or motions.
Point of inquiry.
Yes.
This is that time when I get a little lost. What do we vote on? Was it the
We
amendments
just voted
are
to
now
amend the bill. We have
Okay,
not
thank you.
approved any bill yet.
Okay, thank you.
Approve the constitutional bill requires again a supermajority vote. That was just to amend the bill.
Thank you.
Senator Newell.
This is just a point, I think, of parliamentary inquiry. Are we now able to vote on the bill?
We are now able to vote on moving into voting procedure. Senator Evans.
Motion to move into voting procedure.
Second.
All right, with that, a lot of you already have your hands up. We are looking for a supermajority to enter voting procedure. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a supermajority?
Mr. Chairman, I have a supermajority.
With that, the motion passes. I will lower everyone's hands. We are now in voting procedure. Floor is again open to any points or motions. Senator Evans, Senator Toplinski.
Motion to vote on Senate amending bill 002.
Second.
Second.
All right, we're looking for a simple majority to move into the final vote. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a simple majority?
Mr. Chairman, I have a simple majority.
With that, the motion passes. We are now going to vote officially on the bill. Just as a reminder, we need a supermajority in order for this bill to pass. Mr. Vice Chair, if you could please put the voting form into the Slack channel. Anyone who's having issues with the Slack, please private message me, and I will send it over to you. And please private message me if you message me for the first round of voting as well, because I cannot remember who messaged me at this point.
Point of clarification. If you can just
Yes.
talk about proxies, just because this is a very heated debate and I would like the voting to make sure that it is clear and articulate.
There is only one proxy today, Senator Faruqi proxying for Senator Vivian Dye.
Okay, thank you.
Voting form is in the Slack.
I'll keep it open for a minute and a half. Sorry, yeah.
Point of inquiry while we're in voting procedure. What was the number of starting senators at the beginning of this meeting?
What was that?
What was the number of senators in attendance at the beginning of this meeting?
We started off with
41. Mr.
40, but we started off with 40 and then we went up to 41 when Senator Yu showed up due to technical difficulties. He had a
Thank you.
and that's now on the record.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes. There are 30 more seconds left. All right. Now I'm going to close the voting form. And with 27 votes no, 3 abstain, and 11 in the affirmative, the bill fails. Moving into open forum. Senator Zhang.
Motion to introduce new business.
Second.
Looking for a simple majority here to introduce new business. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a simple majority?
Mr. Chairman, I have a simple majority.
All right. Senator Zhang, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hi, besties. I see that there's a hand. Okay, we're okay. Vinny, I sent you the slide. I know you guys got a bit of a teaser already, but you know, in the last few weeks with all of this conversation about representation in general, I will say that I talked to Dean B this last week, and there's mentioning of Pardee maybe becoming its own full college in the future. And then as we can physically see, the data science building is being built. So that's another matter of representation that is probably coming up. And so I kind of wanted to get in front of this and also figure out a better solution for us to have conversations about representation in student government and hopefully also at a university-wide level in general. So Sammy and I will be presenting or proposing to create a standing committee, which we want to call the Representation Oversight Committee. Shout out to Savannah and Noah, who also helped us out with this. So yeah, if you can go to the next slide. And also I made this dope ass presentation. Okay, so representation isn't easy. Clearly we know this. This is probably week 3 that we've been talking about it. This has, I think, been like 4 years or 3 years or something that the K-Lab has been talking about it. So representation is clearly like a big issue. The proposed mission statement that we have for this committee would be the Representation Oversight Committee, also known as ROC or ROC, aims to evaluate and resolve issues surrounding how Boston University student government represents student groups, as well as aiding interested student groups through the process of gaining representation in Boston University student government. The ROC also hopes to expand its scope to evaluating representation on university-wide committees. Sorry for the typos. So I want to quickly define some things here. When we talk about aiding, we talk about connecting interested student groups or students with the resources that they wouldn't necessarily know about or have. So that could look like walking them through the at-large party process. That could look like connecting them with like school administrators. It could look like connecting them with other senators. I want to be clear that this committee is not made to get people seats, if that makes sense. It's not a guaranteed outcome. It's just a space where we can talk about things like representation outside of Senate time. Next slide. Okay, purpose and responsibilities, kind of the same thing that I just talked about. So some of its purposes and responsibilities would be evaluating the present structure of student government Senate pertaining to fair and equal representation. The committee would ideally then deliver recommendations to all branches of student government. If there's an issue that's brought up by the committee, or sorry, brought to the committee or identified by the committee. And then it would also guide discussion in conversations with students and student groups who are interested in Senate representation or have concerns about how they're currently represented. Next slide.
Yes, so the ROC shall present like to Senate twice a year, which means, or twice a semester, which means that they're having active representation in front of the student body Senate over what we are talking about within representation. This is not a conversation that is going to stop today, and neither Jess nor I think that it should, and that they should also be working to build branches between judicial and the administration so that we have healthy communication happening at all times within the sense of communication. Big changes have happened in Senate in the past 20 years, and we need to actively make sure that these are happening in, efficient and effective ways. The ROC shall present a solution to every group who requested aid. Whether or not the groups accept that aid is up to them, but they shall present a viable solution that works within the administration and judicial as well. And within normal standing committees, for anybody who's been in one, they shall meet once a week and have a public outlet for students to reach them, because if students cannot reach them, then there's no point in creating it.
Next slide, please. So you might be asking us, oh, why is the ROC needed? Well, as we've clearly seen, conversations about representation, which is a really complex and tricky issue, which also has a lot of different perspectives. We need a space for conversations like that, and it needs to be outside of Senate time. I'm sure you guys have been kind of annoyed by, trying to figure out Robert's rules. So this committee would serve as that space. Another thing as to why this is needed, it's a proactive support structure for student groups seeking representation. So we don't currently have that. And like I said, we're going to be seeing, there's always going to be student groups that want to get involved and want representation and care about the way that they are represented. We also really want to center interested student groups voices in the conversation, while also providing experience and expertise and knowledge of how student government functions, so that we can reach the best possible solution for everybody involved. And yeah, it's also a dedicated look at how students are represented versus how they want to be represented, because sometimes there's a disconnect. Next slide. Okay, so I took the liberty of making some possible questions to save you guys time. So why is the ROC a standing committee and not an ad hoc committee, you might be wondering? Well, again, representation is something that's going to come up again and again in student government. It's come up many times in my seasoned career of being in student government. So it's definitely something that's needed in the past, and now I want to take the time to make it now. And then I'm seeing from, okay, why not join the Rules and Reform Committee? I'll leave that for you guys to read, babes. And then also last question, this is a timely proposal. I understand that. Does this only serve PHC interests? Great question, bestie. 100% no. This committee serves every single student and student group that's interested or wants to just talk about representation in general. And it serves all members of the BU community. Next slide. Jess, Sammy, you guys are so convincing. What do I do now? Now, next slide. Now you vote yes on the Representation Oversight Committee. And we've also come up with an amendment to add into the bylaws, because that's how prepared we are. Mwah, we're out. Sorry, we'll take questions is what I mean.
Thank you for that. I will now open the floor to any questions. Senator Toplensky.
That's my CAS senator. So what's it called? I love the committee. My question's at the end. There's a little bit. I would love to see if the committee could also talk about the topic of having two different branches. That's a side note. My question is, have you thought about who you would like to co-chair the committee?
That's a great question. Yes, we will take a look at the option of, or the possibility of having two branches for the legislative branch. In terms of chairing, I personally, I'm not 100% sold on this. Like, I would love your opinion, but I personally believe that it should be two chairs. It should be co-chairs. I think at least one of the co-chairs needs to have student government, specifically Senate experience. So yeah, hope that answers your question.
It does, thank you.
Of course, bestie. Anyone else?
Are there any additional questions?
Guys, don't give me this platform.
Wow, a non-controversial Senate bill by Jess and I. Wow.
Senator Toplensky.
Sorry, that made me really laugh. Jess, I love you. Would you be open to just moving straight into voting procedure?
We
Heck
cannot
yeah,
move into
unless
voting
people,
procedure
never
because
mind.
it's a standing committee.
Yes, so we will.
We're
have
not
to
allowed to even vote on elapsing
Point
the
of
time?
clarification, since it's technically an amendment to the bylaws, would we be allowed to ladder the proposal?
I believe laddering only applies to the Constitution amendments.
Dang it, Hector.
I would, I want to double check. I
Yeah,
thought it
I
was
would
a
love
vote to vote on this committee, like, because we're proposing to create this committee. So would we not be first voting yes on the committee and then amending the bylaws later?
So from just the photo you sent me, the Senate shall vote upon a motion to create or dissolve a standing committee at the meeting following the introduction of said motion.
Cool. Okay.
All right, I guess we'll see y'all next week.
Yes, but I see
Love
Lauren
you,
has a question.
bestie.
Oh, maybe not. No, I'm good now. Thank you.
Any additional questions? All right, and is this judicial a sufficient motion to create a standing committee?
Repeat your question for me again, Vinny.
Is this a sufficient motion to request a standing committee?
Yes.
Thank you. Any additional points that people wish to bring up during open forum?
Wait, I'm confused. So did we?
Oh,
we get
wait, there's other things that could have happened. My apologies. Back to the other thing. I
Should we
will
not
open the
have a-
floor to any points or motions if people wish to have points or motions on this. Senator Zhang.
Motion to move into voting procedure on the on creating the representation oversight committee.
Second.
We can't.
I believe
that.
that's not one of the motions we can move into. We have to wait a 1 week period for that. The motions that we could move into are discussion or extending those kinds of motions. So
Yes.
Then I withdraw.
Thank you. I will.
So we'll see y'all next week.
If there, unless there's any motions that with specific regard to this bill, I will now go back to open forum. Senator Toplensky.
I'm gonna lower my hand. I saw a DTL.
I'm muted. Deputy Justice Van Leer is up next.
Hey guys, sorry for my appearance right now. Oh yeah, you can see me. I just got back from work and then the meeting started. I want to speak on behalf of the entire judicial branch right now and apologize. Throughout the past couple of weeks, there have been hints at a lack of communication between us and y'all, and like regardless of how it happened, or like the intention behind it, it did happen. For one person to say that they're unaware of something means that we dropped the ball. So I wanted to come in front of y'all and one, apologize sincerely. That was a really unfortunate circumstance on our half that should never have happened, especially in the roles that we serve in. So I'm genuinely sorry on behalf of all 5 of us, as well as our subsidiaries, JAC and SEC. And the second being that I wanted to openly and formally give you all my information, as well as Andrea's, as well as our student government email, which I don't have memorized because it changes once a year, every year. But I can give you my information off rip right now. On the bottom of my little thing, it says Van Leer. My email is just cvanleer@bu.edu. If you guys have any questions about our ruling, what we said last year, please shoot me an email. I will gladly sit in an office hours type capacity with it being recorded so that you can have it forever, explaining the process that we went through, our discovery process, as well as the reasoning behind our decision. But that isn't the main point. The main point was just me coming in front of y'all and apologizing. So I'm sorry that we dropped the ball.
Senator Hagee.
I just want to reiterate the kind of point I made earlier about decorum and respect for others in this space. We are all students and we're all trying to do what we think is best for the other students in our communities. So I think everyone should try to maintain that level of respect for each other's mental health and well-being. I think something that all of us can work on is listening to understand and not to respond. There's a little bit of joy in hitting somebody with a retort, but the consequences of that they're not fun and they're not enjoyable. And I think the Killeshan question has brought up a lot of animosity, but I think despite everyone's personal feelings on the matter, we should really strive to be more respectful and set examples for how conversations should happen at Boston University. So thank you, and I just hope that everybody continues to keep that in mind going forward.
Thank you, Senator Hagee. Aditya?
Hey everyone, good to be back. Really picked the right meeting to join in today. Definitely some cool stuff going on. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys a quick update on fees stuff and ask for basically help and if Senate had any insight on something that FEAST is trying to do. So as you guys know, FEAST's big initiative of the year is the 1 week to save the Earth challenge. And so, you know, Earth Day is coming up soon. It's like April 19th to 24th this year's Earth Week. And so we've been planning our activities and collaborating with some groups on campus, and we're really excited about the week, and I'll have more details to share about that in the future. But one of the things that we're trying to do this year is create a cross-college challenge as part of the 1 week to save the Earth, where basically the different students in every college could sort of pledge, and it would go towards their college's overall score. And we would try to get each of the colleges to compete against each other, basically to see which can have the highest overall score. Doing this as a sort of collaboration with all the college governments. And, you know, students would also get rewards for pledging as we've done in the past. So in order to facilitate that, FEAST, we've sort of been thinking about a couple of different ideas, and we've sort of been struggling a bit with like trying to understand what may be possible or what people may prefer. So what we were thinking was it'd be really cool to have like an app where people could essentially, you know, see the 1 week to save the Earth, schedule like all the events that are happening, pledge from there, and get like a live count of the scores for each of the colleges, as well as see like the rewards that they would earn for pledging. And it would also be a way to like continuously keep a live track of people's impact. So what we were wondering was that, you know, if there was any student group or students or people who may be interested in like making such an app, and if like there were, because you know, CAS, you guys probably have the computer science department. So we're wondering if like basically Senate had ideas about, you know, how we could potentially go about doing that and if that was possible. So I don't know how much like level of response is allowed in open forum, but I would definitely appreciate your guys' comments. And support. But yeah, thanks.
Oliver?
Yeah, I would say my first idea is going into Build Lab's innovation pathway. It's a self-accelerator possibility for funding, and they're going to be able to connect you to BU Spark, who has plenty of those types of developers you might be looking for. I know the innovation pathway has been super helpful for many students, so I would say that's the best suggestion that I would have.
Thanks.
If any of the people who have their hand raised, if they want to give a suggestion, I don't know. If any of you want to have a point for open forum or want to speak on this topic.
Sure, I can just throw in the Sustainability Innovation Seed Grants, co-sponsored by BU Sustainability and Innovate at BU. I believe it's a once per semester application period.
All right, seeing no other hands on this topic. Okay. Senator Aracena.
Yeah, I would just like to publicly say that any group who feels like they are underrepresented should seriously take a look at their options as at-large senators. The reason why that exists is for people to have a voice. And if somebody has been trying, theoretically outside of the situation to get representation in Senate, and there was a path, that would have given them a voice throughout the year to represent the people they felt like were underrepresented, and a voice to then push for an agenda for potentially moving on to future permanent representation. This obviously is directed at KHC, but it does, because I want you guys to have the representation you guys feel like you deserve. I don't feel like at the moment we were able to do that. But if you guys try to get that at-large seat, you guys will at least have your foot in Senate moving forward, because I personally can attest to the power of at-large. It's not something to ignore. This is a serious option you guys should look at until we figure out what we can do for all the things that we've discussed last couple of weeks. Thank you.
Senator Kaplunski.
Yes. I have 3 different things I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to give a table of contents: SEC, KHC, and then Provost. So starting with the SEC, the event that just happened, trying to remove myself as an individual that ran on a slate, I felt very disrespected by SEC and the unprofessional and unorganized how that event went. I wrote down a list of 13 things, and the more I think about that night, the more it's growing, of my frustration of how only less than 2,000 students voted. That's just one of them. So I am definitely talking to my advisor about it, because I am very, very frustrated, because we just saw unintentionally, the Senate chair just posted how students don't feel like BU SUGov is really representing them and really moving forward. And that was a great event to show that we are organized, we are professional, and we know how to get things done. So I was very disrespected. Moving on to KHC. At times, just like I did literally last, I have been known to express my full opinions to the fullest. I try to do it in a very respectful manner, but what I saw from other individuals on every side, I don't want to make it biased, was a lot of animosity and a lot of just very intense rudeness. And I'm just hoping, as I forget what senator, it was one of the senators in CAS, I apologize, Senator Hakey. I do agree that we really need to reevaluate how we talk to people, how we talk to senators, and how we talk to our constituents. And then the last thing, which is more on the good news, I like to end on good news,
Savannah, and everyone else that's been involved in the sexual assault protest. I should give a trigger warning, nothing intense though. We did meet with the provost, and you should see, if not tonight, because it's 9:30 and I'm a little slammed with homework, but probably tomorrow, a post from CS Student Government about our meeting. So things are moving forward on that front. We are having a really fruitful conversation. And I'm really, really proud of all the clubs, all the students who have been pushing and helping that and really putting survivors first. So I do want to end on a nice note saying thank you to everyone who's helped on that. And that's all.
Senator Zhang, you have a response.
Yes, this is a direct response, and this is, I think, just something that needs to be said. We have a vice president of internal affairs who is specifically meant to handle any personal conflicts you have with any member of student government. So I was the last vice president of internal affairs. I highly, highly recommend that everybody who has something that they feel disrespected by or anything, please speak to Naya. She is fantastic. She is wonderful. Senate, I'm so sorry. It's not your place to work out issues against individuals, against how you're feeling. I hate to say it. It's not your soapbox. So use Naya, please.
Senator Balboa.
Sorry for making this meeting so long, but I just wanted to personally apologize about some of my language tonight. I didn't intend for it to come off as rude, but I am just very passionate and wanted to see better responses for like Kilichan arguing for representation. That was my only opinion.
Miss Davy Falcone.
I'll be quick, I promise, because I know we're all dying on the inside and a little bit on the outside. I want to thank everybody who has kind of, made comments along the lines of we need to have more of a better dialogue. I totally agree with that. I would ask everybody here to please support the Representation Oversight Committee. It has KLAB's support. I think it's important. Obviously, the way we go about getting representation that we feel is equitable for our constituents is going to be clearly a conversation that continues. If it wasn't clear, I'm yeeting out this year. I'm graduating. This was kind of never about any one person and more about the process itself and making sure that there is a streamlined process. So I won't go into like the details of why not at large, because I think we've gone back and forth a bunch of times, but my sincere hope is that we can all kind of work together. And by we, I mean probably the people who come after me, because again, I'm outie, but work together to find an equitable solution. And I think that that is exactly what this committee would do. So I would ask you all to please really consider supporting it.
Senator Kaplunski.
Yes, I'm starting this by saying, Jess, I love you. You're in CS, you're in advocacy, I love you. But this is my damn soapbox. This is everyone's soapbox.
Please refer from language. Thank you.
This is everyone's soapbox. This is the place to talk about issues. There's a way to say things nicely, and there's a way to say things rudely. And I don't know if that was me saying things rudely, but by going directly to Naya every time we have a problem, it's just going to build up tension that I just don't agree with. Sammy and I, just an example, we've had conflicts in the past, but we talk about them and like we're very good friends. And that's just like, I just am frustrated by that comment, because if we're not talking about these topics, such as F It Won't Cut It, the BU bus, COVID responses, sexual assault prevention, on and on and on, BU Reddit, that post. If we're not talking about it, SEC, sorry, I'm just getting more frustrated because this is the place to talk about it. Why does it need to be in the shadows? That's all. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for everyone for bringing the passion. I agree with Senator Hagee. We should absolutely be more respectful and listen. But I do want to give also a special thank you to Vinny. He's been working his tail off, and he works hard inside and outside of Senate, and that needs to be acknowledged now and every Senate meeting. So thank you, Vinny.
Thank you all. Very appreciate that. Senator Casas.
I don't have anybody to thank or anything. Everybody follow the golden rule, treat others how you'd like to be treated. And here's I'm dropping my email in the chat for Vinny to share with y'all about the ROC. I don't have anything controversial to say. Treat everybody nicely. If you got personal problems, talk to them. I'm not your mama. Your mama's not here. Be nice, please. And thank you.
Senator Majerowitz.
Two things. One, I think we should start calling the ROC the Rock, just because I think that flows a little bit better, and we can say you're rocking with the student government, but that's just me. I'm sorry in advance for that one. But motion to adjourn.
Oh,
wait, I see Naya's hand up.
Before we get Madam Vice President.
I'll be so quick. But yeah, but you guys don't have to come to me for official complaints as well. If you just wanted to talk in general, you can still come to me. And also my email's in the chat. Just wanted to quickly say that. Okay, go ahead.
Motion.
On
Second.
the floor is to adjourn. We have a second. We are looking for a supermajority. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a supermajority?
Sorry, one second. I was writing stuff down. Yes, I have a supermajority.
All right, with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming. Have a great night, and I will see you all next week.